Hello everybody and welcome to Monza in Italy for the 5th round of the 2013 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. This major event is held in the Temple of Speed and launches the playoffs, as in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series in the United States. An important meeting as points will be doubled, so everybody will have to avoid mistakes. On pole for this first Ellis race of the weekend is Ander Villareno in 1 minute 58.591. Behind the Spaniard come Frédéric Gabillon and the Swiss Jan Zimmer. At the start, Villareno holds on to first place side by side with Frédéric Gabillon. Behind, the drivers do not hesitate to go 4 wide before the first chicane. Zimmer tries to get on the inside of Frédéric Gabillon, but it doesn't work. Further back in the field, Marco Spinelli, one of the 10 Italian drivers competing, gets spun by number 85 Uxur. Behind Dicono Rocca, Natalie Maye and Hugo Beck are the victims of this incident. On board with Jan Zimmer behind the 2 championship leaders, Villareno and Gabillon. The top 3 remains unchanged before the Ascari chicane. Max Papis is 4th, ahead of Anthony Gandon and Romain Yaneta. On lap 4, Gabillon in blue number 5 car is decided to beat his Spanish opponent. He takes the inside line and the lead. Huge disappointment for the Swede Fred Nordström, 4th in the standings before Monza, who has to retire. In the Challenger Trophy, Bruno Cousin is in 10th place, ahead of the newcomer in the series, Stefano Gabellini, number 54, and Guillaume Rousseau. The Frenchman does a brilliant overtaking at the first chicane on Gabellini to snatch 11th place. Let's ride on board with Gabellini, the Cal racing driver. A few laps after, Rousseau, number 13, even takes the advantage on Bruno Cousin. He's 10th. At the front, the battle for 4th between Yaneta, Gandon and Papis, back in NASCAR Whelen Euro Series after Tour Speedway, is intense. The Italian driver appreciates the official NASCAR series in Europe and drives for his own team this weekend, the Max Papis Racing. Let's ride on board with him. Romain Yaneta shows a good pace at Monza and overtakes Papis for 4th. He does the same as his countryman Anthony Gandon at the first chicane. Gandon, number 7, takes the slipstream behind Max Papis. And it works for the French. Up front, Gabillon leads ahead of the current championship leader, Ander Villareno and Jan Zimmer. The top 3 has already pulled away from the pack. On board with Villareno. He takes the slipstream behind Gabillon and will do a clean move at the end of the straight line. The Spaniard retakes first place and will pull away slightly. Frédéric Gabillon will have to slow down a little bit to reduce the temperature of the car. He's a few seconds behind Villareno. And after 15 laps, the number 2 Chevrolet TFT driver takes the checkered flag to win the race from Gabillon and Zimmer, the first junior. In the Challenger Trophy, Guillaume Rousseau wins and takes some points to Bruno Cousin. Villareno scores another victory this year. He celebrates in style. And he celebrates as well with his wife.
It's been a nice race. All the weekend I'm with a cold and it's been hard physically. But I'm very happy. This is my 7th win of the season and still 3 races to go, and I hope to win another one. I don't know how many, but another one.
On the podium, Villarino is surrounded by Gabillon and Zimmer. These three drivers have a clear advantage in the standings. And we're back for the second elite race on the Autodromo di Monza. Under Villarino starts from pole position thanks to the best lap he did during the first heat. He leads Frédéric Gabillon and Jan Zimmer. Fourth place for Anthony Gandon ahead of Max Papis and Roman Yaneta. Villarino controls the pace at the start and accelerates only when the lights go green. Side by side with Gabillon. And here we go for the 24 cars. The first turn will be epic. It rained a lot during the night, so the traffic is damp. Be careful at the first chicane. And Villarino goes wide! Can Frédéric Gabillon take the most of it? You'll see the Spaniard is very fair play and let Gabillon past to avoid a penalty. Jan Zimmer takes the slipstream of the number 2 car and takes second place at the outside of Cova Grande. Oh, Gabillon locks his brakes at the Ascari chicane but still holds the lead in front of Zimmer and Villarino. Roman Yaneta, who took a great start, is fourth. After the opening lap, Gabillon has already a small advantage on Zimmer, whereas Villarino is threatened by Yaneta. The Frenchman seems to be at ease in these tricky conditions and takes third place after an awesome move. Anywhere in the field, the action is on. Russo takes the slipstream of Gandon in the main straights and overtake him. The number 13 driver is now in 6th place ahead of Gandon and Roca at the wheel of a Repel number 18 car. Gabillon, Zimmer, Yaneta and Villarino lead the field after 4 laps. Oh, and the leader misses his braking point before the Ascari chicane and goes wide. He loses some speed and Zimmer takes the most of it to overtake him before the Parabolica. Let's ride on board with Gabillon. And look on the left. Yaneta, car number 1, following the Swiss and taking second place. Very bad news for Gabillon, who gets passed by 2 cars. Zimmer leads his first lap this weekend, but a few meters later he does a mistake at the first chicane, and Yaneta takes the lead. What a race! The order of the leading quartet changes every lap. Further back in the field, Nordström, number 44, is fighting for position with Gabellini, the black and orange 54. The Swede will finally overtake the Italian at the Ascari chicane to take 10th place. At the front, the battle continues. Gabillon tries to take the inside line, but it's very slippery before the first turn. And it's Yaneta who cuts the chicane. Zimmer retakes first place. On board with Gabillon, can he do the same? No, it doesn't work for the Frenchman. But look on the left. Villarino is faster and takes third place from Gabillon. Yaneta is the new leader after a little mistake from Zimmer, and Villarino misses his braking point at the first chicane, as you will see, and gets passed by Gabillon. That's the second mistake at this turn for Villarino. The conditions are really tricky for all the drivers, so it is for Yaneta, who goes wide in Les Mots 2 and loses his first place. The RDV competition driver led until the penultimate lap. Zimmer is under the pressure of Gabillon in the last lap. Yaneta, fourth, has lost ground. After an outstanding race, the young 23-year-old driver Jan Zimmer scores his first career win ahead of Gabillon and Zimmer. Yaneta is fourth, ahead of the 2009 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series champion Willy Bussena. The Swiss is delighted.
So, nochmal ein Hinweis, AVD 100 Meilen Teilnehmer, alles was zu AVD
He's
100
congratulated by
Meilen
Overdrive's
gehört,
team manager,
eingeladen,
Philippe de
jetzt beim
Corsac.
AVD-Truck zum Mittagessen.
It's amazing. First of all, I really like to thank all the team. They made a really great job with us last week, and it was a nightmare really. At the end, they made mistake. I made also mistake, but my mistake was not that big. So I was able to just keep the lead in the last corner. It was really tight, but yeah, fantastic. Well, it's really a pleasure and a privilege to be part of this NASCAR Whelen Championship. Really, it's fantastic, man. Best day ever.
After Monza, Villareno is the championship leader with 533 points, Gabillon in 34 points back, just one ahead of Zimmer, the first junior. Bruno Cosa in 9th place still leads the Challenger Trophy. The NASCAR Whelen Euro Series wrote a new page in its history as the championship goes to Monza, the Temple of Speed. This mythical track has welcomed some of the best international series and always provokes a particular emotion to the drivers.
Just a great pleasure to be here in Monza. Last time I was here with my Formula One car, back in 1995, and when I walked in today, it was just an amazing feeling. This is my home track. I used to come here when I was a kid.
Same for this fellow countryman, Davide Amaduzzi, who is also at home this weekend.
It's a very special day. I'm very proud to be here for the first race with the NASCAR. I have a lot of memory in my career. I raced with a lot of cars here.
Yeah, I think it's a big privilege to be able to race in Monza, one of the most iconic tracks of the world.
It's a great place, a lot of history, and when you come here, you know that you have done something pretty special.
This 5.79 3-kilometer track is not that easy to understand. Between long straights and chicanes, teams and drivers have to choose the best compromise for the setups of the cars.
It's a very tricky formula because you need to work on small details, and we've been doing the best we can with what we have over here at the racetrack.
Ici, on a un réglage châssis.
We have specific chassis set up to have a good speed in both straights and chicanes.
Et également pour les chicanes.
The camber is very important here, and the higher is pretty important. We are trying to find the right pressure for the tires, because here with a very hard brake and a very high speed everywhere, the tires are suffering a lot.
On this racetrack, the top speed is around 280 km per hour, so the slipstream phenomenon will be a factor to be forgotten. Surprisingly, the slipstream is not as important as we could expect in comparison to tracks like Dijon or Spa-Francorchamps.
It's all about straight line speed, really, because you have so many long straights that if you can be fast down the straights, you're going to have a good chance.
You can reach also 1 second and something more if you take the slipstream in the right position.
Even if it seems easy, the Autodromo di Monza has a specificity. The curbs are pretty high, and the drivers will have to think about the way to ride them correctly in order to be fast.
It's a very fast racetrack, very technical. Sometimes you have a tendency to drive the car a little too hard.
When you touch in an aggressive way the curb, you start to jump like a kangaroo. You don't stop. You can go back on the power. So I think at the first and the second chicane it's much better to drive very clean. In Ascari it's better to use the curb because the curb is pretty flat. To drive very clean, very smooth will pay a lot at the end of the race.
But what do the drivers really think about this 8-ton track? We've asked them about the part they appreciate the most here at Monza.
I just love the racetrack. I don't have a particular corner that I like the most. It's definitely Parabolica is the corner at Monza. Very fast, you need to be very brave.
It's I like a good technical corner, I think there's a lot to think about, and if you're good for a day, you get a great run down the long straights, you can overtake some people.
Ascari, for sure, because it's maybe the most technical corner in the track. The faster chicane.
You can use the curb and keep enough speed, and the exit is really great.
You can feel the car very fast and very sliding, and the wall is very close, but you have to go on and push 100% the power. It's a pretty fun chicane.
to racing with the first Open Division race, and on pole for this first round of the playoffs, where the points are doubled, is Anthony Gandon, the TFT Leclerc driver, followed by Guillaume Rousseau and Enzo Pastor. The current championship leader, Josh Burden, starts in 4th position with a repaired car following the crash during the free practice of his elite teammate, Rocca. Anthony Gandin and Guillaume Rousseau are side by side before the first chicane, who will be the fastest. Gandin the red car and Rousseau the white and yellow-green car. The TFT driver, car number 7, keeps the lead ahead of Rousseau and the wild card Luciano Linossi third. Behind, Cantal and Vernet go over the curb and get away with it. On board with Josh Burden, who takes the outside line to overtake Enzo Pastor before the Variante della Roggia. The Australian is now 5th. Gandon, Rousseau, Linossi, Moccia, Burden, here is the top 5 after 1 lap. But the Scopus Racing Forda Motorsport driver overtakes Moccia, another wild card this weekend, to take 4th place. Him and Linossi do not score any points. In the Legion Trophy, Jerome Laurent, the leader, is ahead of Leonard Vernet. Let's remind you that after the signing of a long-term partnership between the organizers and Whelen Engineering, the 4 trophy winners will have a chance to compete in the NASCAR race in the United States. The stake is high for them. And the Swiss driver, number 22, will finally overtake Laurent Nascari to take some points from his rival. At the front, Gandon has pulled away from Rousseau, whereas Burden is ready to overtake Linossi. Let's ride on board with the current championship leader before the Parabolica. Oh, a little mistake from the Italian on the braking. The Scopus Racing driver will certainly take the most of it. The 2 cars are side by side before the first chicane. Burden brakes but slides a little bit, and here's the contact between them. The Australian has to retire. It's his second DNF of 2030. In Gentleman Trophy, the leader Joachim Gabaron is currently 4th overall ahead of Luciano Linossi, who had to do a drive-through penalty after his contact with Burden. Up front, Gandon is still 1st, but Rousseau is not so far away. The number 7 driver has led every lap since the start of the race and could take the championship lead from Burden. On board with Guillaume Rousseau in Lesmo behind Gandon. But the TFT driver has increased the gap and will win for the 3rd time of the year. The young Frenchman is now 1st in standings, 12 points clear from his rival. You'll see from the onboard camera, he's delighted. Huge satisfaction for Gandin. He wins the first open race. Rousseau is 2nd ahead of Luigi Moccia, and thanks to his 4th place, Gabaron wins the Gentleman's Trophy, whereas Leonard Vernet scored another top 10 and wins the Legend Trophy. The Red Devil celebrates in style with his team. He's really thrilled by this win. I'm very happy to win for the team. They've done a great job. Winning at Monza is really cool because it's a mythical track. We are now the new championship leaders, but I'm sorry for Josh, who had to retire. I'm happy. I want to thank everyone. So here's the podium. Gandon is surrounded by Rousseau and Moccia. On pole for the second open race of the Monza semi-finals is once again Anthony Gandin. The Frenchman is in front of Guillaume Rousseau and Josh Burden, who set a good lap time despite an early retirement in first race. Joachim Gabaron is 4th, ahead of Luigi Moccia and the 3rd championship contender, Julian Guppi. the start. Gandon is side by side with Rousseau. And Josh Burden goes behind Rousseau. Will he overtake Gandon on the outside? No, it doesn't work. He stays third. The Australian seems to be very motivated to win after the problems he had since the beginning of the weekend. Rousseau took a good start. He leads ahead Gandon and Burden. But even before the end of the opening lap, the Scopus Racing driver will overtake his championship rival. With the points being doubled, Burden has to win in order to have a chance to retake the series lead. On board with Burden, who takes the slipstream behind Rousseau. And he easily takes the advantage over the number 13 car. As Gandon doesn't want to see the Australian pulling away, he does the same on Rousseau. But be careful on the braking, some wet patches are still here. Rousseau doesn't get early on the gas, and Goupy takes the most of it. He's now third. In the Legends Trophy, the battles continue between Laurent from pole position 81 team and Vernet, the 22 Ford Mustang. At the Ascari chicane, the Swiss does a clean pass to take advantage over the rival. Up front, Burden leads, Gandon is second under the pressure of Julien Goupy. The rapid racing by Steele driver has not been very lucky since the start of the weekend. When Gandon does a little mistake at the first chicane, Goupy is faster on the gas and takes second place behind Burden. Burden leads 1 second ahead of Goupy. In the Gentleman Trophy, Joaquin Gabaron is ahead, Eric Kental and the red and yellow car in the background. The number 5 driver is 43 points clear of the TFT driver in this category. But on the braking, Quintal spins at the first chicane. Gabaron can easily take the most of it. But after 10 laps, the Swiss will slow down and will be forced to retire. Congratulations to the track marshals, who are always doing an awesome job on the track. Burden is first, but Goupy is behind him in the last laps. Will the Frenchman be able to attack his opponent? No, it won't be sufficient. The Australian scores his 6th win of the season and retakes the championship lead for 2 points ahead Gandon. So after a very bad start of the weekend, the Scopus Racing team has done a great job to get rid of their black cat. Goupy finishes second ahead of Gandon and consolidates his 3rd place in the standings. Leonard Vernet wins the Legend Trophy, so does Frank Violas in the Gentleman Trophy. Huge joy for Josh Burden, who had ups and downs this weekend. He's congratulated by his team. The Australian is over the moon.
It was an awesome win. First of all, I owe this win to the Scopus Racing team boys. After the big crash my teammates had in first practice, I thought the weekend was a write-off, and I thought, that's it, that's our championship over. But the fighting spirit of these guys was amazing, and they got a car on track for us in qualifying. Maybe it wasn't the perfect car, but it got me up the front end of the field and where we needed to be. I needed to win. It dropped me from 26 points up to 12 points down, so I was going to win no matter what it took, and yeah, we did it, so I'm happy.
In the championship, Burden now has a 2-point lead over Gandon before the grand final at Le Mans. Gabaron leads the Gentleman Trophy and Laurent is still in front in the Legend Trophy. We're very impatient to be at Le Mans for the season decider. See you then.